Hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome on into the swear word. I'm your host, Brandon Swear. And hey, this is a podcast for the chilihead community by the chilihead community. Regardless of your spice tolerance, this is the place for you. Up tonight, we have an amazing guest locked and loaded, a very fun game. So, episode 181 starts now. What's going on, Swear Nation? So glad to have everyone here. Whether you're tuning in on YouTube, Spotify, Rumble, and or Apple Podcast, thank you so much for being here and continuing to make this podcast what it is. Up tonight, we have Dino from Hotter Than Hot Sauce here as our guest, and a very fun round of Keep 5, Cut 5 ready to go. So if you would have answered Keep 5, Cut 5 any different than Dino does, please go ahead and let me know down in the comments what your answers to the overall game would have been. And if you have a favorite Hotter Than hot sauce, let me know down below which one is your favorite. I'm looking forward to hearing from every single one of y'all. So without further ado, let's go ahead and kick off tonight's podcast. Hey, Dino, how's it going?
Good, man. How about yourself?
Doing great. Glad to have you here. Obviously, I've heard so many great things, by way of mutual friends, the others that just absolutely love your sauce, all throughout the gambit, right? So honored to have you here and learn a little bit more about your overall journey and how you got here.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate the opportunity, man.
Yeah. Well, the only question that is the set question, which is what got you into the world of hot? And then what was that moment that you decided, you know what, I'm going to start making my own hot sauce?
Um, when I was a kid, my father, European, came here from the old country, always had a hot pepper with dinner, just biting it. Then, and he would get the hiccups. And as a little kid, I would be, Dad, that's so stupid. Why do you do that? And then I would see him in his garden, like picking peppers. And I thought, man, this old man is crazy. And then slowly I became that crazy old man. It just I just developed. Um, what got me into making my own sauce, being a type 1 diabetic, I don't typically do sugars, sweeteners, anything like that. Just not a fan, can't have it, whatever. Um, and I wanted, I like really hot, like I like on the hotter end of hot. Um, and a lot of the hot sauces have a lot of sweeteners, and it's not a diss on any of those companies. They're great products. It's just not what I was looking for my intake. So I wanted to come up with a brand that had absolutely zero sugar, zero sweeteners. And that's what started Hotter Than And it just, one thing led to another. I lost my job in my real career. So it gave me the opportunity to just focus on the hot sauce for a few years until I got sucked back into my career.
Okay. All right. Well, what's awesome about that is obviously taking the plunge, the jump, if you will, to be able to pursue this hot sauce passion in that sense, but also to be able to have it be that catalyst as, I guess really not to say that there's not any kind of hiccups or pitfalls that come along this journey, but it helped kind of smooth out and really build up a potentially bad time that could have come from just business not being as consistent.
Yep. Yeah.
So
No, for sure. I mean, it's a great ride, and the community is just, I've been fortunate that the businesses I am in, whichever of the career, my personal businesses, it's just great. I mean, it's a great, society. I mean, everybody's there for everybody. Like anything, you're always going to get, those few people that, yeah, you'd like to, just, slap them.
yeah.
But the majority of them, people will help, people will share, it's just it's a great community. I love it, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And something that I obviously mentioned a lot on here, but for those that are just unfamiliar and from the outside looking in, it's not quite like most other industries in the sense of that competitive, like I'm just going to screw over everyone type of thing. Like that's not the case in the hot sauce or really any kind of a spicy treat at all. Anything that involves capsaicin community. The majority of people are there to help. They're there to build
Yeah.
up. Everyone knows that it's not finite, like there can only be one to rule them all type of a situation. So
Yeah, no, and that hits the nail on the head. I mean, yeah, I have a mango habanero. Mango habanero is one of the most popular habanero sauces. But friends of mine that make it, we'll talk. Other sauce makers, we talk about our recipe. I mean, it's just it's an open book. It really is. You know, um, yeah, no, it's great. I mean, two of my go-to guys are probably, Zach from High Desert, very good friend. Mikey V, probably one of my best friends in the zoo, my other career in the hot sauce business. And then Jay from Burns and McCoy, he sold it, but we're still in touch. We still talk all the time. I mean, I've made a lot of great friends, and it's definitely a worthy industry to play in.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And something that you said there, which was a bit comical in my head, because obviously the reference to the zoo, it's like most people when they walk in, if you're not familiar with how the community is or the craziness that can unfold, you walk into any of these expos or hot sauce
Oh yeah,
events in general, you're gonna think you just entered a zoo because the
yeah,
amount of screaming, hollering, sweating, snotting, all the things.
yeah. It's true, man. It's true.
It's wild times. Okay, all right, all right. Well, I guess what was that first hot sauce then for you that kind of started it all?
So my very first sauce was Scorpion Sting. I'm going to grab a bottle. Um, was this one here? Oh, there we go.
Very nice.
First sauce I made. Um, I was working at a zoo. My marketing person at the zoo was like, "Hey, I know somebody, at a major restaurant chain down in the South, Tijuana Flats." She's like, "You should talk to them, see if they're interested in carrying it." So, mind you, my very first sauce, I meet with them. Next thing you know, they're buying 20 cases of gallons every 3 months to put on their hot sauce bar. And I thought, man, this shit's easy. Well, that was the first, and then it took a long time to get some more momentum. But yeah, so that was my first sauce, and they still sell the 5-ounce bottles on their in their bars or in their restaurants. So yeah, it's pretty cool, pretty slick.
Yeah, that is very cool. And the one thing that's always mentioned, and to those that are maybe either not in business for themselves or not entrepreneurial mindset in that sense, that making that first dollar is oftentimes the hardest obstacle in the whole entire business. So to
Yeah,
walk into something that was so beneficial in that sense, it's got to be a nice like basically springboard trampoline to get you going, right? So.
oh, definitely was, but it gave me a false sense of this shit's easy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. There's that finite line where you have to like walk with the confidence in what you have versus the whole like overly optimistic, and so that was yeah, I can see where that would be leading you into kind of like a false sense of security. Like you could just walk into the next
Yeah.
place and be like, "Here, this guy's already got it. Here you go. That'll be this much." Like, right? It's not quite that easy every single time, unfortunately.
No, no, it definitely isn't. I've been fortunate. I mean, like any sauces, and there's a ton of them out there, man. There's a ton of fantastic sauces. They sell themselves. You know, my biggest downfall is I'm not a pushy salesman. I don't hit the pavement going store to store to store to restaurant to trying to sell it. I don't. I've always had a full-time job on the side. So this was always like the side hustle.
Hmm.
Is it a detriment for me? Absolutely. But you know what? It covers its bills. I have fun, and I've met a lot of great people, and I burn all the time. I love it, man.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And that's the great part about it too is like, every sauce maker, to an extent will try their products, and you got some that will like make products that are possibly too hot for them. But to find someone that's in it, loves pushing themselves, loves burning, being involved, like that's the kind of trifecta of possibilities within really the hot sauce side of things. Because something you also mentioned is the going with the zero sugar side of things. It's like, for me, that was a radical shift for me in 2014. Like that's whenever I gave up sugars, and like now I'll work some in here and there, right? I'll have some things, but it was bad before for me, and not like it was noticeable in my overall physical appearance by any stretch, but drinking, a 3 liter of soda a day, 10 to 12
Yeah.
energy drinks, some coffee, all these things, like all these sugars, all this caffeine compounded in the body. You don't realize
Yeah.
how much you don't need it until it's gone, and you're like, wait, this is how I should be operating?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a huge difference you notice after some time for sure, hands down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and I guess from that standpoint, it had to be. I would think, I don't know, maybe was it easier to have those conversations with, like, say, restaurants, etc., to say like, hey, my product doesn't have sugar in it.
Oh yeah, and and I think everybody would agree that over the last 10, 15 years, people are, even the big manufacturers are trying to make healthier choices.
Mm-hmm.
So not having all that was definitely did not hurt me. Nobody's out there looking for the most unhealthy, fattening, product. Well, I hope not anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, it definitely was a plus.
Yeah, well, those people that deliberately seek that out, I'm sure there's probably a group that also, shares that bit online as well. But I wouldn't imagine that would be the majority of folks. There's a difference between, in golly, bringing back a old memory of like one of my first jobs ever. Whenever you start a place and they're like, oh, introduce yourself, tell us a little fun fact, all this stuff. This guy that's like two or three down from me, like before me, ends up saying, "Yeah, I just like." His fun fact about him was he likes good food, and it's like, okay, that's so vague. What is good food, right? And so he's like talking about it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I just like," and he starts listing off all these things that are, basically very calorically dense, not the greatest stuff for you. All like the things you should possibly be avoiding. He's like, yeah, that's like 80% of what I like to look for. And he's like, I only keep the other 20% of slightly healthier options so people don't tell me that I just eat junk food all day. And I'm like, I don't know if I'd call that good food. I guess it's your
Yeah,
definition, but
yeah, that's awesome. It's true
uh,
though. I mean, everybody, it's all perspective, it's all relative.
absolutely. Well, and I guess from that sense, with like oftentimes, so for anyone that's like listening and may not be familiar with how some of these ingredients work together, oftentimes people will use added sugar or some kind of a sweetener as a means to level the heat or make it kind of give a perceived delay, even, or a harmonious blend of flavors. There's kind of different main uses, but the predominant one you'll see is reduction of heat towards like the felt from the sauce. But it's an interesting thing because there's plenty of other ingredients out there that can still do that kind of hand holding of ingredients to make two very loud ingredients want to work together.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I
Yeah.
guess, how was that journey? Did you start finding anything that, like, you're like, all right, never again am I going to try to mix this in to what I have going on? Was there an ingredient that just fell to the wayside?
Yeah, I think I have 16. I think I got 15 or 16 sauces in production. And I have like 48 recipes. Some of those I have stomped and smashed into the ground and will never try again for
Mm-hmm.
one reason or another. Um, but For me, it was I like to push the envelope, and try coming up with just really something wacky, something that you don't see a lot of. My Asian's got heavy cucumber in it, so it's very cucumber forward. I use a Vietnamese cinnamon in my blueberry. Just things that I like to be different. So I tried using, and I am, if there's one thing I can't stand is anise. I hate that flavor. I can't stand black licorice.
Hmm.
But I wanted a black hot sauce. I wanted it to be just black. And I thought, well, what would be great? A nice anise flavor. So I toyed around at home, just coming up with it, and every one of them was just revolting,
Yeah.
horrible.
Uh, well, and yeah, that's a hard one to think about. The one that I've probably seen the most effective. I'm trying to think back to like the ones that are more of a black hot sauce without being just straight extract, right? Um,
Yeah.
I think the only one that I've seen that I can think of right at this second is there's one that was made with squid ink. And so that was pretty interesting because it retained, obviously, squid ink is very, very
Yeah. Dark.
permeating.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Oh, that's cool. That's actually cool. I like that.
yeah.
Kudos to that person.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. So like now that's kind of opened this side of curiosity, if you will. It's like the idea of ingredients that work, tremendously well, which I feel like those are oftentimes pretty unifying across the board of what's working great, right? But it's those outliers of those ingredients that will never grace the kitchen again for certain makers.
Yeah.
It's always interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
That's cool.
the I guess from the creative, from the standpoint of that, I know you mentioned utilizing some very unique ingredients, but is the initial thought process, I guess, how does that go? Are you crafting towards like something missing in the market for, let's say, like a dish or a certain type of cuisine, or are you just simply finding what ingredients are speaking to you and also kind of playing into that unique ingredient side of things?
That's a good question. I some of my sauces I did were originally for, like, the scorpion sting. This
Hmm.
was originally for me because it's a Thai curry base. I love to eat seafood, and when I have fish, I love Thai curry on my fish. So for me, it was 100%. I made this for seafood. And again, this started just me at home making it for myself, making it for family, friends, that type of thing. Um, that's why I was shocked that the restaurant that got it was a Tex-Mex. So it was burritos, tacos, tostadas. It blew my mind that the Thai curry was so popular. Um, so that kind of changed my trying to look for specific dishes, because I have two curry sauces, Thai curry sauces, but they don't go with everything. You're not going to use it, unlike my Gator Jakes or my 24 karat, my Caribbean style. That's more versatile. So I try to hit more versatility.
Uh-huh.
Um, but it happens. I mean, my Asian sauce is, again, cucumber forward, rice wine vinegar, wasabi. So it's not versatile. It doesn't go with everything.
As you can see here, for anyone that may be trying to figure out if you've landed on the right spot, obviously I got right now the Scorpion Sting pulled up. Here is what the homepage is going to look like. Boom, hotter than nail. Great shop selection, everything kind of going on there. The one that we keep referencing here for anyone that is watching along and wanting to also see, this is the Scorpion Sting. Get you a close up of the label there. And absolute, just absolutely phenomenal overall representation. I love the playful use. It is, much more of a minor thought of the overall packaging label aspect, but the play on the flames to the heat is a nice, beautiful touch from a visual appeal standpoint. Obviously, you have the drip coming off of that scorpion there. So I love the way that really kind of plays into the name, plays into the labeling, but also still, very much so, very true to what is going on, keeping with the rest of the brand feel, the brand vibe. So kudos there. What was the thought process through the imagery. Are you creating these? Are you utilizing someone local? How does that work out?
So I used to work with this lady who's a graphic artist, and she started doing the designs for me. So that's why they most of them look similar, the art, because she did it. I have two that are actually three that were private labeled, like the night I was about to point to the screen,
Nope.
the
Yep.
Duke's Brown Ale in the 1901. I use a beer company, a brewery out of Jacksonville, Florida, where I used to live. Um, that's their beer is in it, and that's their label. So that's the label of their beer. I wanted that for brand recognition. They've already spent years building up a clientele, so people walk into the store or a restaurant, they see that, they're like, holy crap, we love that brown ale, let's give it a shot.
Yep.
So I did that. But most of them are I just tell my artists, what to do. I says, hey, this is the sauce, be creative, take it away. And I let her play, and um, she sends me, the pics, and we go back and forth, and she designs it to show my ignorance on things and my lack of knowledge. So I came out with my purple haze. It's the
Uh huh.
blueberry Vietnamese cinnamon fatali pepper. So I says, hey Natalie, send me some artwork, just some stuff that you have in mind. So they were all like this burnout hippie dude smoking a spliff. And I'm like, I don't get it. I'm like, Natalie, what is this all about? She goes, you don't know what purple haze is? I go, no, I had no idea it was in reference to a weed. No clue. So I didn't go with that. We just went with,
Okay. All right.
yeah,
Yeah.
just because I didn't want that, that portrayal. I try to be a family friendly sauce. Um, you know, I had a store for a while as well, a spicy grocery store, and I kept almost 700 varieties of sauces, and I think one, maybe two in the whole store were deemed maybe a little bit inappropriate because I had a lot of families come in. I didn't want that, and I had that same respect for other store makers that it's got to be. In my real profession, everything is about families and
Yeah.
being friendly, politically
Yeah.
correct. So that's kind of I try to keep that with my artwork. Um, One of my sauces, my daughter, I designed. The company's named after her, Elle. That's what we called her growing up. Was Elle. That's the little cherub that's on my label, the little devilish kid, because she was a feisty little, spicy little kid. But I let her. I told her, I says, next sauce I make, you can design, and that's what she did. She did.
Oh, very
It's
nice.
it's my Asian flair. Yeah, another label that what I didn't do or my artist was a co-branding one I did with a MMA fighter, and he wanted to. It's actually my newest sauce, and he wanted. I told him, since it's you come up with the artwork, and that was on there. It's Angry Barbarian, so that's his artwork.
Okay.
Yeah,
The angry barbarian right here. Very
yeah.
nice. How did that connection come to be between y'all?
So I had a store, spicy grocery store in Florida. Um, I don't know if that's on you or mine that just popped up. Something popped up. Sorry. I had a spicy grocery store when I lived in Florida. It was basically international foods, but only spicy. That was it, from all over the world. And the local tourist development group for the county. I was friends with them, and they wanted to film a Hot One style store or show on YouTube with local county uh, athletes. So this guy was from the area. He came in, and we just started talking this, that, blah, blah, blah. And I was teasing him about the other MMA fighter that's got a hot sauce. And I was like, hey, if you ever want to do it, let me know. And he's like, yeah, yeah. So about 3 months later, he reached back out and he goes, hey, I want to do it. And I go, under one condition. I says, it's got to whoop the backside of your buddy's hot sauce because they know each other. They've worked out at the same gym. He goes, all right. He goes, cool. So yeah, so we got together. I brought him up for the filming or for the making of it at my co-packers, Endorphin Farms. Um, he walked it with me, him and his wife, watched the process get made. I mean, it was cool. It was a really nice thing. And, for a big burly, guy in a ring that you would not want to be anywhere around, he is the most quiet, passive. I mean, just super, super mellow, super sweet guy. So it was kind of nice to see both sides.
Yeah. Well, what's also interesting about that, and touched on perfectly there, which is the old idea of, those that are fighters and stuff, the aggression that they're constantly in, the like intense training that they're constantly putting themselves into. You would think that would continue on, like they're broken that way. They're constantly that, but that's not the
Yeah.
case. It's just kind of like most people that are stuck in a rigid, black and white type of job, if you will, and then they go do something creative. It's the same, you got to have those polarities, those differences to be able to bounce between. Otherwise, you're just, I don't know. I feel like you would just be a robot at that point.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think, yeah, you need that diversity just for your own sanity.
Yeah. The only people that I can recall that kind of have not had that kind of outlook, if you will, or escape, or were recalling back to time in the military where it was like just operators, if you will, that they've committed only to that, and like that is they might as well be plugging in at the end of the night and charging up and getting ready to go, with lack of emotion, lack of obviously they care about something because they're devoted to accomplishing the
Yeah,
task, but just robotic with emotion
yeah,
and tendencies. It's pretty wild when those happen.
yep, for sure.
Well, something also with that hot sauce, was this something that is within a realm of heat that he also enjoys consuming, or was this pushing past levels of comfort for him?
I think this was the limit. I had to tone it down a little. I unfortunately make a lot of stupid hots, and he didn't want it stupid hot, so I had to tone it down. It's still warm. It's probably maybe 6, 7 out of 10.
Okay.
It's not as hot as my Love Burns, which was on Hot Ones in the number 7 spot, but it's just a little under that. But it's great. I always wanted a black garlic sauce. It's balsamic vinegar, red wine vinegar. Um, uh, yeah, it's a good sauce. 7 Pot Primo for a nice burn.
Oh yeah. I mean, it
Yeah.
sounds like an amazing pairing right there. The kind of combination that you have going on now. Obviously, it sounds like having the imagery of the cherub being your daughter made me now also wonder: does she eat spicy, and if so, does she eat as spicy as you? And kind of where does that look like? Does the household eat
Um,
that way?
Yeah, she digs spicy. She's not as doesn't as hot as me, but when I had my store, I mean, we would do a video on the store's YouTube channel, or she did all the technology. I'm an old dinosaur, so I don't get it. But the store Facebook page, every weekend she was with me because me and her mom are divorced, so I only had her every other week. We would do tastings in the store. We'd get 3 items. I would let her pick, or I would pick. We'd do a mild, a medium, and a scorcher. And we would sample it and talk about it. It was a blast. I loved it, man. She's into it. She likes spicy food. She always joked that when the ex got remarried, she's like, she would have to get hot sauce from me. She goes, yeah. She goes, I'm the only one that eats it. They're a bunch of wimps, you know. So yeah, she's like me for sure.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's super cool. And it's one of those things, it's like obviously the passion's there. Shared moments like that. Another reason why I bring that up is like, knowing that having these shared moments with my own kids, it's always fun to see, which of my kids are going to kind of like push the envelope, be a little bit more risky in that sense, or which ones like to find out where they're, comfortable at. And so far, my son, he's the oldest. He'll eat pretty spicy. Nothing like where I'm at in that sense, but that's fine. I think he typically kind of teeters out at about ghost level, right? But my two
which is pretty
youngest
good.
daughters, yeah. My two youngest daughters are 7 and 5, and they are. God, my 7-year-old is probably the least likely to eat spicy food out of all the family. But my 5-year-old, whenever she was, God, she probably ate that jalapeno with me at 3. I mean, I'm just over there picking jalapenos off the plant, and she's, 3-year-old just chomping away, get about halfway up, and then she's like, okay, and then hands it back to me and goes and picks another and eats about another halfway up. And I'm like, hey, good on you.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
it's she's the one that I'm gonna be watching to see if she ends up, getting up there. But yeah, it's always fun because obviously you have the spark, you have the passion of the overall, what you're doing, what you're cranking out, but to be able to have that shared bond through spicy food is completely different. Like some people may think of, well, I guess you could argue there's cultural dishes that kind of do ultimately the same thing, but when you
Sure.
experience the wave of the initial rush, the heat, the question of did I just get in over my head, back to just like total relaxation and just going, okay, that was really actually really good. Like, let's jump back in. That's that kind of catalyst drive. But whenever you share that, it's just I don't know how to describe it other than it's something beautiful because you're
Oh yeah,
forming an unspoken bond with somebody that you really don't even like. Most times when we're sitting down and doing a pepper competition, like I may not know the person next to me, but guess what? I'll know them after they're done with this competition because we'll have
yeah,
this unifying bond. And so it's pretty
yeah.
cool how that works out.
Yep, for sure, man, for sure.
Well, something that we've kind of talked about, the store, the hot sauce, so on and so forth. What was, I guess, a standout moment from Hot Ones of just really like burning someone up, or maybe a praise, an accolade of some sorts?
So I'm an older dude. I'm 60. And my ghost sauce was on Hot One season 12 in the number 4 spot. So not a scorcher by any means. Somebody I have been in love with since I was a youngster is Drew Barrymore. To this day, I would whatever love Drew Barrymore. Um, just because the stuff she's been through, from hardcore drugs as a just past being a toddler, a young teen, an
Hmm.
adolescent, to where she is now. I kudos to her. Kudos. But when she tried the ghost and she said something positive about it, I was like, oh my god! It hit me hard, man. It was like I loved it. Um, and then Matt Damon, who I dig Matt Damon, not the same as I love Drew Barrymore, but I dig Matt Damon. And he had Love Burns, which was number 7 spot in the season 15. And I assume I can say what he said,
Yeah,
cussing.
yeah.
All right. His comment was, fuck, that's hot. It's delicious, but fuck, that's hot. And that was pretty cool to make Matt Damon say that.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. It's wild to think that the concept of obviously interviewing celebrities, but then having that extra layer of kind of just like, oh golly, if you were to be sitting there trying to do a remedial task of any sorts, right? You're just doing something, and like a person just smacking you with a stick repeatedly. It's kind of like that. You're trying to do a task by answering this questions in the interview, but the whole time you're just getting pelted with, you know,
Yeah.
unknowns because most of those that are sitting down there, and I guess really that's the humorous part is that most of those that are sitting down there have no clue what they're about to get into. They may
No.
see or hear or by way of someone else they know that has taken on the show. But realistically, I mean, hey, even probably for the majority of those watching that are, maybe not spice heads themselves, but they like this actor or actress or whatever the case may be on there, and now they're having their knowledge base expand from the hot sauces that are there. It's a pretty cool idea in the way that it goes, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, you just, you're answering these questions and you're waiting for them to snap and you're waiting for them to break. And then to have these moments that catch them off guard, even though they're knowing what they're getting into, it's got to be
Yeah.
cool. Very,
Yeah.
very
No,
cool.
I mean, it's a great concept. Whoever came up with the concept, I don't know if it was Sean Evans, I don't know who, but Sean Evans is an amazing interviewer. I mean, because he's done his research, and even the guests will say it. They're like, "Where did you dig that up?" I mean,
Yep.
they're like just blown away. And then as they get to the 6, 7, 8, 9, you can see they're just got that glazed look in their eye from the constant pelting with the stick, as you put it.
Yep. Yep. It's, I mean, it's the wildest thing as that happens because, you know what you're getting into, but you'll still have some of those that will go on there knowing that they can't handle heat. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay. There's probably other places you could have done an interview, but I get it. Like,
yeah,
if you're
yeah,
that
yeah,
terrified, but
yeah.
no,
It's
that's also
awesome. I
makes what
dig it.
makes the humor of it all. So that's too funny.
Yeah.
Well, so I guess something that I didn't really touch on too much, which is ultimately where are you? What's the thought process forward? Where's the path forward for Dino?
I'm still coming up with more sauces. I know eventually. I always joke with Mikey V that because Mikey's got a huge arsenal of sauce types. I always joke that every day I'm getting one sauce closer to him. But it gets to a point where I need to, I think, pull some back and maybe just do them on a limited basis, just because it's too many. It's too
Mm,
much. It's too much money tied up in inventory. Um, but I always wanted to open a bar in a restaurant. I always wanted to be in that business. So when I moved back to Michigan, I left Florida in September just to get closer to my family. Mom just getting older, health stuff, wanted to be closer. Um, so for the last 2 years, I've been looking to buy a bar in Michigan, and I was just looking anywhere. I didn't have any region. I went on some commercial websites, found a couple. Some of them sold before I was able to pull the trigger. So there's one here came up. I was from Florida. I was driving to Joliet for the Hot Sauce Expo last year, and I sent them the zoo in the area. I sent an email and I said, "Hey, I'm in the zoo business 30 years. I've done it all from animal keeper to curator to COO, CEO of a zoo to a maintenance guy part time. Do you have anything part time? Just, I love the business, want to stay involved." So she reached out, the director, and she's like, I don't have anything at this time, blah, blah, blah. But we had a nice conversation. So that was it. So I drove up to the expo, and I left 2 days early to drive to Saginaw where this bar was because I was still interested in buying the bar. So I came in, just kind of secret shoppered it, had a food, had a beer, talked with some of the locals. Then I met the realtor and the owner, and we started the discussions. I went back to Florida about a month later. The director of the zoo called me, and she goes, "Well, I hope your trip went well. Did you move up here yet?" And I'm like, "No, didn't have a job. Still working on some things." So she offered to, fly me up. Um, Came up, chatted. She offered me a job and came up. From one, I only wanted part time. Well, here I am, full time, over two departments at the zoo, and I bought the bar. So it's like the hot sauce wasn't enough. I had to go buy another business that's way more of a time suck than the hot sauce is. But it's
true.
but it's great. I've converted it into spicy stuff. It's still have the regular food, regular drinks, but now I got a smoked ghost pepper tequila, a regular ghost pepper tequila, habanero tequilas, cucumber, jalapeno tequilas, mango habanero whiskeys. I got a lot of additional stuff, and it's been popular. People are starting to dig it, man. I got these chili liqueur that makes some great mixed drinks. So yeah, I just kind of kicked up the menu, kicked up both food and drink. Um, got a local butcher that makes um, he does a cheddar brat. I gave him a gallon of my Love Burns, my number 7 sauce. I said I want it with this in it. Now I sell these cheddar brats with Love Burns. I have pork sliders with Love Burns, and I'm coming out with, it'll be on my website hopefully soon. Snack meat sticks, dry meat sticks made with Love Burns.
Nice.
So yeah, I just like to keep pushing and keep seeing what I can do.
Yeah, well, and I mean, what a better outlet. I mean, you have uh, people's inhibitions, obviously, what they're going to want to eat, go way up there whenever they're drinking like that, and really being able to cater in that market. Obviously, having something unique that tons of bars can offer the same drinks, but now you have fun ways to be able to make it personalized, make it your own, right? And
Yep.
that's great. And then it sounds like it's a great test vehicle for potential new products as well at the same time.
Yeah, and so the reason I was a couple minutes late today for this, I had a meeting. We have a local minor league hockey team, the Saginaw Spirit. So with the zoo, we were there for a game a couple months ago. Started talking to the marketing guy. Um, I pitched the idea as like, hey, I would love to do, Saginaw Spirit hot sauce. If you guys are into that, I says, I'd even like to have you guys, some of the players come out to the bar and we'll do 5 sauces and we'll just do, kind of like a hot ones concept.
Mm-hmm.
I says, but with the team. So we started spitballing. So Adam at Endorphin Farms got me the samples this week. So or last week. That's where I was dropping off the samples, and he's taking it to leadership today, and we're gonna see if I will have a new Saginaw Spirit hot sauce.
I like it. Hey, that's awesome. I think more people are needing to get tapped in to different sports teams like this. Obviously, tons of people are going to these events, ballparks, any kind of stadiums in general are starting to have signature sauces, signature foods, signature this. So it's like, why not try to get in with someone that's local to you, build up that camaraderie, and also continue to expand the network, right? So
Yo,
very,
for
very
sure.
cool.
Yeah, especially because I'm new in Michigan, so my sauces are not in any stores. The only place you can buy it is out of my bar, because I haven't been here long. In Florida, I'm still selling and shipping to restaurants and stores in Florida. So Florida, I did okay. As far as the hockey team, I give 100% credit to Eddie Stanky Sauce. Ed, he did it down in Florida. He
Mm-hmm.
got the Orlando Sun Bears, hockey hot sauce. The XFL, as short as that lived, he had the Guardians, hot sauce. So he was doing it. So I reached out to him after I made the deal with the Spirit. I says, all right, I need some pointers. Teach me from your mistakes.
Yep.
And Ed was great. He taught me a lot. So thank you, Eddie. Appreciate you.
Nice. Yep. The Stanky Brothers are always a great company and cranking out some amazing stuff. So,
Yeah.
you listed off a great layer of connections slash brainstorm party, mentor, however you want to categorize them. A great group of guys there to be able to lean on and ask questions. And it's always give and take throughout everything in life, and I'm sure there's plenty of times that you have come in and helped and been there for them in that sense. So
Yeah.
it's all
Yeah.
good, all good there, and just keep spreading the love of hot sauce to everyone else out there. You have so many avenues that have no clue. what this world could be like with just a little bit of spice on their food, right? Or like
Yeah,
me, dump a bottle.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, if you look back 10 years ago, Burger King didn't have spicy food, Arby's didn't. Now they all have, a ghost pepper or a something that's pushing the envelope. Granted, it's limited time,
Yep.
but it keeps coming back every year. So it obviously does something. I think the big companies are learning, and Hot Ones, hell of a deal marketing. I mean, they're in the grocery stores now for all types of stuff, the Hot Ones packs. So it's, we're spreading that chili love little by little. Every year it's a little bit more. So we'll keep pushing it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess if you think about it in a very inside industry type of thought process, with every bottle of hot sauce, the world's SHU rises just ever so slightly because the
Yeah,
dilution rate is only what's here present. So if we just keep making hot sauce, then eventually we can't dilute the hot sauce.
that's right. That's right. It keeps growing, man.
Yep, yep. All right, all right. Well, I have a very fun game that goes perfectly with this. So let's go ahead and jump on over there.
All right.
All right, well, here we go. We have a very fun round of keep five, cut five. And what better way to continue our conversation of talking about hot sauce and all this to go into, well, here's 10 ingredients on the board. The way this works, I will list them off for those that are just audio only listeners, with the respective number to the image. So, the best way to go about this is you either pick a keep or you pick a cut, and then we just alternate until the board is done. You don't have to go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that unless you want to. You can skip around. But first up, we have number 1 is black garlic. Number 2 is saffron. Number 3 is olive oil. Number 4 is ginger. Number 5 is papaya. Number 6 is honey. Number 7, cilantro. Number 8, tamarind. Number 9, red onions, pickled red onion. And then number 10 is rosemary.
Wow, man, that's tough. I'll do my. I know the two that I will X right off the bat
Let's do it.
will be 5, the papaya, and 6, honey, just
Okay.
because I don't typically do sweets.
Yep.
Black garlic, definite keep. Ginger, definite keep because I use those in some of my sauces. Saffron, I would like to keep. I haven't done a sauce, but Zach crushes it with Ghosts of Saffron. So great potential. Being an Italian, I got to go with rosemary, or my dad would come out of the grave and whoop me. And I'll take the red onion, pickled red onion.
All right. All right. I like it. I can actually see this, working together in a very interesting way. Now, granted, the olive oil might have helped melody blend some of this together, give it a nice little bit of sheen. But that garlic with the ginger, that red onion, and then having that black garlic and saffron, I could see that actually becoming something, being a nice little core base of ingredients for something there. So I like it.
Yeah, I could have. I know, and I was having a hard time between the olive oil and the saffron because I think the olive oil, going with my Italian background, the olive oil, the pickled onions, rosemary, but the ginger is even a little out there. It's not that's a stretch,
Yeah.
but yeah. Now I'm gonna play. You got me
Yeah.
coming up with something new.
I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah. The ginger, I could see that still working out in a smaller, more controlled setting in that sense. Not a main character ingredient within the sauce. But yeah, because the rest of those in there might be a little bit of a clash. So
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
What pepper would you
Cool, man.
have in mind, do you think?
If I'm gonna try going true Italian base, I'd probably like to do something with Calabrian peppers.
I like it. I
Calabrian.
like it.
Yep. Yep.
I could see that. I could
Um,
see that being a fun one.
yeah. And I need something a little on the milder side. I keep pushing the envelope, going hotter and hotter, and you know, it's
That
it's
that could make
fun, but
that could make a pretty interesting like I was just thinking about those ingredients and what they would play really well with, but like a nice cold cut sub with that kind of level of heat, that level of flavor, the boldness coming from the other ingredients more so than the pepper. Yeah, I could see that being a phenomenal like sandwich slash salad, hot sauce.
yeah, yeah, mix it with some vinegar and just do it as a dressing.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, phenomenal. Phenomenal. All right. All right. Well, that was Keep Five, Cut Five. Nice little way to kind of mentally break up the conversation, even though we kind of stayed in the same realm. But
That's right.
this next part here is the nugget of knowledge. This is something that you would have, we'll take it from the standpoint since you did have a physical location. What would be your nugget of knowledge that someone is thinking about opening up a brick and mortar? So you've had one in one state. You've now, I guess, technically kind of have one as well through by way of the restaurant slash bar. So, what would be your nugget of knowledge for those individuals?
Man, I tell you, it's tough, and it, it, I loved the international, spicy food store. Loved it, and I still get customers, bummed out that I'm not down there. They can't go there. Either I had hot sauce customers, but I also had 30, 40 different types of ramen from 5 different Asian countries. I had all kinds of stuff, so it was great. The biggest problem, if you're going to do something like I did, international, and this was one of the reasons I was closing it down. And this is for anybody out there that's ready to jump on the political bandwagon. This is nothing about politics. This is about simple reality. Tariffs made my stuff go through the roof because 80% of what I had in my store came from out of other countries. So prices went sky high. My spicy chocolates from Ecuador, 28% increase. My spicy coffee, 20-30% increase because it was from Central South America. So it became too much to pass on to the general public. So keep that in mind if you're looking to do international. Location is everything, and word of mouth, man. You gotta just have fun. For me, it was hanging out with the customers. I had a blast. I worked it myself most of the time, um, so it was a labor of love. Did I collect a paycheck? No. Did I have fun burning people? Absolutely. You get the drunks in at Friday night saying they want the hottest thing, and it's right where they jump. So I don't pour a little. I would give them a whole spoon of Primo Army or EAFO and just crush their souls, man. So yeah, have fun with it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely amazing nugget of knowledge and beautiful imagery right there at the end, lighting people on fire. Yeah, you step into those hot sauces unknowing of what you're getting into, and you're gonna do exactly what you ask for. Bite off the highest end of the stick, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
and I'll tell you, it was funny because some of those folks they come in and they ask for the hottest, and then while they're buckled over, starting to cramp up, you know, you hear them tell you, "Well, God, I do sriracha all the time. That's their hot." It's like, man, you should have led with that, genius.
Yeah. Oh man, that's hilarious. Yeah, I was actually talking about this the other day with my neighbor. They said that they were talking about sriracha, and they were shocked that sriracha has so much sugar in it. And I was like, well, it's more closer to, in my opinion, it's closer to a ketchup than it is a hot sauce because of the amount of sugar that it has in there.
Sugar in it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they
So I just and another one more. Oh, I don't have any in there. I was going to show you my hottest is Molotov cocktail. I had a bar across the street from my store, and they use my Love Burns already for their 4X wings, and they wanted a challenge wing. So we went with Molotov cocktail. I think it was at the bottom. Oh, there it is. Yep. So we went with Molotov cocktail, and I added to the gallons a tablespoon of 7-pot Primo because we wanted it hot for a
Uh-huh.
challenge. So I had a guy in my store and he was trying my sauces and he tried some of it and he's like, "Oh, that's good." But again, a little tasting spoon. Then he all of a sudden, I was telling him about it's used across the street. So he goes, I'm going to go do the challenge. I was like, all right, cool, man. I says, if I'm slow, I'll close the store and walk over and watch you do it. So I went and watched the last like 3-4 minutes of it, crushed him. He couldn't finish it. He left the bar, bent over. I mean, wrecked, totally wrecked. And then his wife says, I told him not to do it. We're jumping on an airplane and flying to Denver. I'm like, man,
Oh
again, tell me that knowledge first.
man. Oh gosh. Yes. It cramps while flying. I can only imagine like the pressure already from the plane flight. The pressure from your stomach trying to digest all the capsaicin, the gases that are being released, just the sheer cramps of digesting it all. That
Yeah,
had to
I
be
hope he
one
was in the aisle seat.
that had to be one miserable flight. Well, I feel sorry for who was ever sitting close to the bathroom. I mean,
Yeah,
you'd have no idea if that flight was a whole bunch of turbulence, and that turbulence hits right as those cap cramps are hitting. You're going to be in the bathroom for all the wrong reasons. So,
yeah, love it.
okay, all right, all right. I like it. I like it. Obviously, you were named for the hot seat as someone that they think they made a great guest for the show. And this is your perfect opportunity to do the exact same. So, who would you like to put on the hot seat?
Wow, that's tough, man. Um, God, I I would love to see Zach or Mikey. Zach from High Desert. If they and apologies if I don't know if they've already done it. But either one of those I think would be great. Just a great. Zach has got some great stories from his Hot Ones stuff. Um, and I think some great stories for people that are looking to possibly get into this wild, wild ride of a business. And Mikey's just an all around great guy. Um, yeah, yeah those are, I think, two guys that would be great. Um, yeah, even
Absolutely.
Eddie Stanky, even Stankiewicz, but I don't know if Eddie's been on the show or not.
Yep.
He's always out and about. So
Yeah, yep. Eddie has been on. We've had both Stinky Brothers on the early episodes. God, I'm trying to rack my brain on what actual episode number that was, but that had to be 2023. I want to say end of 2023, maybe beginning of 2024. So definitely have them back on. There's still so much more that they have going on. And
yeah,
then same thing. I think Zach might have been a very early on episode. I want to say he was maybe in the 40 range. I'm trying to think, but
okay.
still so much more to catch up. We didn't even really touch on much of the hot ones things in his episode, so that would be great continuation. And then Mikey, I got to get him back on the rotation. So all three phenomenal nominations. I'll get those back in the rotation on the stinky sauce side and the high desert sauce side, and we'll get the. We'll get together with Mikey and find a time to have him on. I know we had everything lined up before, and then last minute, just scheduling on both of our ends fell through.
Yeah,
So just a lot going on at that point. So get back on the horn with him. I think that'll be a great episode.
cool, cool.
Well, thank you so much for those nominations. Now, this last part here is greatly beneficial for those that are just audio only listeners. Where can they find you? How can they find you? And any kind of announcements you want to make? This is your opportunity.
All right. So website is www.hotterthanl.com. And on that, I also have one page of all my old inventory from my store. It's all on sale at my cost, at wholesale prices. Once it's gone, it's gone. I won't be getting it back in stock. Other than that, if you're in the mid-Michigan area, come to Whiskey Dick's in Saginaw, Michigan. It's great place, great food, great drink, the best burgers around. Um, yeah, other than that, man, just keep burning up wherever you are. Always push that envelope and always just keep pushing yourself, man. People always say, when you get the newbies, oh, when it gets so hot, you can't taste the food. And I always tell them but what's hot for you is not for me. And I can eat scorching, but I can still taste if there's garlic. I can still pick out those herbs and seasonings. It's just, your tolerance. And it's just a matter of getting yourself building that up if that's something people want to do. I realize not everybody's into the endorphin rush, but some of us are hooked.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, hey, that adrenaline kick is a phenomenal one. So I definitely recommend more people pushing themselves a little bit past discomfort and finding out what it's all about. But absolutely phenomenal. Dino, it has been a pleasure having you on. There's still so much more, obviously, we can dive into. Would love to have you back on.
Absolutely, man. Anytime. Anytime. I'm sure I'll have more fun, wacky stuff by then.
All right. Dino, has been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast. If you would like to keep up with Dino and Hotter Than Hell and Whiskey Dick's, I will have the direct links down below for the website so you can check out the full lineup of everything that we've discussed here, as well as the remaining inventory. And obviously, a means to be able to go check out Whiskey Dick's if you're in the area. Check out some of those spicy drinks, the spicy food offerings, and of course, you can grab yourself some hot sauce. So definitely head on over there and do that, as well as I will have the direct links for all the socials so you can keep up with everything that Dino has going on. I want to give a quick shout out to those that have been rocking since day one, all the way to those that have just recently found the podcast. Thank you so much for all that y'all have done, and continue to share this out with other like-minded chili heads or individuals that are curious about the world of hot, because this is where you find everything to do with the world of hot. New episodes drop every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central, as well as a periodic Thursday will be rolling out, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Also, we have sponsorship opportunities open for the podcast, so if you're looking to sponsor the podcast, maybe have a featured segment in the podcast, whatever the case may be, reach out via theswearword.net or on socials, and we'll get that conversation started. If you're on a platform that allows for a 5-star rating and review of the podcast, please go ahead and do so. That helps us get in front of the algorithm and get in front of more chili heads that are, curious about the world of hot, all the way to those that have just been absolutely enjoying their own personal journey. So please go ahead and leave a review if you could. That, once again, helps us get going. Give a quick shout out for our sponsors, podvision.io. If you're looking to grow your brand, start your brand, you've hit a bump in the road, you're trying to figure things out, highly recommend checking out podvision.io for all of those needs, as well as webdx.one. Maybe you have an online site, maybe you had a guy at one point and lost contact with them, maybe you just never got around to building a website. Highly recommend checking out webdx.one for all of those needs. Best of all, they get you looking great online while you get to focus on what you do best. I'm Brandon Swear, and from everything from the world of hot, this has been The Swear Word.